In 1892, a girl named Cornelia Johanna ten Boom was born in Haarlem, the Netherlands. Her father, Casper, was a watchmaker, a gentle man with steady hands and an even steadier faith. The family lived above the shop on Barteljorisstraat, in a narrow old house they called the Béget. The ten Boom home was always open. Casper and his wife Corrie took in foster children, fed the hungry, and welcomed anyone who knocked on their door. Every evening the family gathered around the dining table to read the Bible aloud. In this house, Casper would say, "We love God, and we love whoever God sends through that door." As a young woman, Corrie became the first licensed female watchmaker in the Netherlands. She learned precision, patience, and the quiet art of making broken things work again. She had no idea that God was training her hands for a very different kind of repair. For decades, life at the Béget was quiet and unremarkable. Corrie taught Sunday school, ran a girls' club, and fixed watches alongside her father. She never married. She never traveled far from Haarlem. By 1940, she was 48 years old, an ordinary spinster in a small Dutch city. Then the Nazis came. The German occupation of the Netherlands began in May 1940. Within months, Jewish citizens were forced to wear yellow stars. Their shops were smashed, their synagogues burned. Families were dragged from their homes in the middle of the night. Most Dutch people looked the other way. Casper ten Boom did not. When a neighbor warned Casper that hiding Jews could get his entire family killed, the old watchmaker looked at him with quiet disbelief. "I would consider it the greatest honor," Casper said, "to give my life for God's ancient people." He was 80 years old. Corrie organized a secret network. A hidden room was built behind a false wall in her bedroom, barely large enough for 6 people to stand. They called it the hiding place. An alarm system was installed. Escape drills were rehearsed until every person in the house could reach the secret room in under 70 seconds. Over the next 2 years, the Béget became the center of a vast underground operation. Corrie coordinated with the Dutch resistance, forged ration cards, and moved Jewish refugees to safe houses across the country. An estimated 800 Jews passed through her network, 800 lives smuggled through the eye of a needle. On February 28, 1944, a Dutch informant betrayed the ten Boom family to the Gestapo. The soldiers stormed the Béget. They tore apart the house, smashing furniture, ripping up floorboards. But they never found the hidden room. 6 Jews huddled in silence behind the false wall for nearly 47 hours before the resistance rescued them. All 6 survived the war. The ten Boom family was not so fortunate. Corrie, her sister Betsie, her father Casper, and over 30 family members and friends were arrested. Old Casper was brought before a German officer who offered him a deal. "If you promise to stop this nonsense, old man, you can die in your own bed." Casper looked at him and said, "If I go home today, tomorrow I will open my door to anyone who needs help." He was sent to prison. 10 days later, Casper ten Boom died in the corridor of Scheveningen prison. He was 84 years old. Corrie did not learn of her father's death for weeks. When the news finally reached her cell, she pressed her face against the cold wall and whispered, "He is with his Lord. He is with his Lord." In September 1944, Corrie and Betsie were transferred to Ravensbrück, the notorious women's concentration camp in northern Germany. They were stripped, shaved, and given threadbare prison dresses. They slept on filthy straw mattresses, crawling with fleas. 11,000 women died there that winter. But Betsie, frail, sick, barely able to stand, did something extraordinary. She held secret Bible studies in the barracks at night. Women crowded around her in the darkness, prisoners from every nation, desperate for a word of hope. "Corrie," Betsie whispered one night through cracked lips, "there is no pit so deep that God's love is not deeper still." The fleas in their barracks were so thick that the guards refused to enter. Betsie told Corrie to thank God for the fleas. Corrie thought she had lost her mind, but those fleas were the reason no guard ever interrupted their Bible studies. The infestation became their sanctuary. On December 16, 1944, betsietenboom died in Corrie's arms. She was 59. Her final words were, "We must tell people what we have learned here. We must tell them that there is no pit so deep that he is not deeper still. They will listen, Corrie, because we have been here." 12 days later, Corrie was released. A clerical error. 1 week before, all women her age were sent to the gas chambers. After the war, Corrie did exactly what Betsie had asked. She traveled the world, telling their story. She spoke in over 60 countries across 33 years. She opened rehabilitation centers for concentration camp survivors and for the Dutch who had collaborated with the Nazis. Those who were able to forgive, she wrote, were able to return to the outside world and rebuild their lives. In 1947, in a church basement in Munich, Corrie had just finished speaking about God's forgiveness when a man approached her. She recognized him instantly. He had been a guard at Ravensbrück. He extended his hand. "You mentioned Ravensbrück," he said. "I was a guard there, but since then, I have become a Christian. I know that God has forgiven me, but I would like to hear it from you as well. Will you forgive me?" Corrie stood there, her hand at her side. She, who had preached forgiveness to thousands, could not lift her arm. The faces of the dead flooded her mind. Betsie's broken body, her father's empty glasses. "Jesus, help me," she prayed silently. "I can lift my hand. I can do that much. You supply the feeling." She reached out and took the guard's hand. "I forgive you, brother," she said, "with all my heart." She later wrote that she had never known God's love so intensely as she did in that moment. Corrietenboom died on her 91st birthday, April 15th, 1983. A watchmaker's daughter who learned that the most broken things can still be mended. A woman who descended into the deepest pit on earth and found that even there, God's love was deeper still.